This is my presentation for teaching the Holocaust to middle school students. Teaching the Holocaust Toolkit. In this toolkit, there will be some recommendations, ideas, methods, instructions, and lesson plans that you can use to teach a middle school classroom about the Holocaust. There will be different subjects that you can integrate this topic with. There will also be instructions and ways to put this very emotionally deep and intense topic across to young students. First, I'd like to talk about how we should just integrate technology in general. There is many different types of integration with augmented reality games, simulation games, social networking, and just how we need to put emerging trends of technology into the classroom. Now, my first technology trend is using the iPad. I found the iPad and using an interactive app, and it is an interactive app that is going to teach children about the Holocaust by going through a story of survival with a dog named Briscoe. This can be used with reading and language arts. The author of this book is Steven Winkelstein. He is the creator of the actual book, and he's actually created an app that is an interactive storybook. Now, it is not completely fully an app yet, but I think that it would be a definite teacher toolkit technology integration because it is the actual book and you could use it on the iPad. Now, I know that I'm getting out of the actual presentation, but to be able to show you what this book is, here is the website, and it is showing the actual article of where to go, and here's the Briscoe book. And the next link is the story. Now, it's not the whole entire story, but here is the video.
Hello, my name is Steve Winkelstein, author of Briscoe, a true story of a little girl in the Holocaust whose only hope was a dog named Briscoe. Today, we're combining this important historical narrative with the power of 21st century learning. Without moving into the future with these stories, the lessons learned from the Holocaust will be lost entirely on new generations. This is where the app comes in. In addition to producing a paper copy of Briscoe, we are building an interactive app with maps and photos. Students can discuss the book with other students all over the world. And with our esteemed development team by our side, there's no telling how many classrooms and iPads Briscoe might reach. Today, I'm asking for your help in making Briscoe a reality for many future generations to come. Browse our Indiegogo page. We have some really exciting perks to offer you in exchange for your generous donation. Thank you.
Now, with this app, I believe that it would be a very, very good interactive app. Now, here's the actual website, or here's an actual script from the book, and you could actually use this in the story. Here's the link to that. Now, next, what I would like to talk about is how we could integrate history with technology. Now, the Holocaust is a recent happening with our history, even though it was still some time ago. Now, when you think of history, you usually think of time. Now, there's the Timeline 3D app that can be used on the iPad. Now, you could integrate this app with history, and the students would be able to use the following app to create timeline of events that happened. Now, this article shows the 5 top iPad, iPhone apps to help students with the timeline. Now, the timeline that I used was the Timeline 3D app because it's simulation and it's an augmented reality game if you put in the certain aspects of how it runs. Now, this is the actual link to the actual iPad app in the iTunes store. This is also a 3D tutorial video for the actual app. Now I will only show just
Timelines are for people who have a story to tell. For students and teachers telling a story from history to their class. For lawyers, compiling the evidence and the exhibits from a trial into a coherent story for the jury. You'll start by launching Timeline 3D and creating a new timeline. For each event that you add to your timeline, you will type or dictate the title, the date, and any other information that you'd like to include. You can also add a photo or a movie to each event.
And with that, I think it'd be very simple for a student to be able to integrate that with a timeline. Now here's the PDF file that has timelines as to what happened and the dates that the students could actually learn and put into this app. It's a pretty lengthy timeline, but if you were going to do a whole unit on it, it's a very good tool to use. Now next I would like to talk about Skype. Skype is a reality tool. It is same day, same time. It's very interactive. Now usually when we use Skype, we usually use it to talk to our family members or friends. Now with using Skype as an educational tool, we can use it to communicate with maybe some Holocaust survivors that a teacher could find, or maybe just the relatives. This can be used to integrate with social studies, reading, language arts, and even speech classes. Now this link is an article from Time magazine. The article talks about how using Skype in the classroom brings students to places they may have never been to travel to, or learn things that they may have never learned out of a book. And I think that's a very good tool for students to be able to actually talk to maybe a Holocaust survivor that's maybe still in Poland or in Germany perhaps, that you wouldn't really be able to get them to the classroom. But with Skype, you can bring them into the classroom to be able to talk to your students. Now the Skype software, whether you have an iPad in the classroom, maybe a Kindle or an Android app, or if you have Macs at your school or Windows, Skype can be used on every single one of those. So here's the link to each of the download softwares. Now this is a following video tutorial for Skype. It's very simple and interactive.
Yes, I agree. You can remember the name and password on this computer, and of course you can launch Skype when you start the computer.
Yeah, just that few seconds, it shows you step by step on how to create an account, how to go through each of the different things, how to talk to somebody, how to start a video, and even start a group video. And next I would like to talk about how the emerging trends fits in here with social networking. Social networking is a huge thing in our society now. And Edmodo is kind of like a classroom Facebook. It can be a great tool to use with any subject. It doesn't even need to be for this particular subject. You could use it for your whole classroom, and if you teach multiple subjects, you could even put it in as 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and then even subcategorize those classes into subjects, courses, topics, and basically anything. This technology tool is more like a social networking place where students and teachers can interact with each other by posting things that they find, or even completing assignments that are posted by the teacher. This tool could integrate with the Holocaust by using it throughout the whole unit, keeping track of discussions and assignments. Now, the teacher themselves can create assignments or polls or put assignments up on this that the students can access. Now, that's just a short bit. On this article that I have posted here, this article goes through 21 different ways that Edmodo can be used in the classroom, and I just listed a few. Now, on here, 21 different ways, I'm sure we could find many ways with that could be used with the Holocaust. Now, following is a support link and a PowerPoint on how to use Edmodo. It's a step-by-step process. And this is a video that also shows the basic functions of Edmodo. Now here's a link on the actual Edmodo website that shows you video tutorials on different functions and practices that you can use with Edmodo. It lists in different ways on how to create a folder, how to upload a document, how to comment, how to make a poll. There's a video for each one, and it's pretty simple. Now next, using photos with technology. Now this one is where I see it's an augmented reality or simulation. Now you can take photos from maybe Google if you'd want to find some Holocaust photos, or maybe you have some personal ones from your own collection, or you could use it from a lesson plan. And how I would like to use that is the Photo Story app, where you can use them in many ways. A student can create a journal for either the English classroom or social studies classroom. It can be like a sort of another timeline, but with the Photo Story, you can insert these interactive maps, and you can get this from this actual lesson plan. It shows you the link on the lesson plan, and the materials that you need. Now when you go to the interactive maps, you can see it here at this website here, and it's used with this given lesson. Now here is the app link to the Apple Store, and it's free. And we also have Google Maps, which is also free. I figured I'd put this in here because you want to be able to connect current day things with the students. Now the maps that are interactive are just kind of cartoonish. It's a reality, it's a simulation. But with Google Maps, it's the augmented reality where you can type in that actual spot and show the students the current day of how it works. Now, this video that is linked here is just a kind of an advertisement video on how it works. Now, how this connects to the Horizon trends is that there's the social media, there's the augmented reality, there is the technology in the classroom. And I think that all of these technology tools in general work to make this toolkit work. Now here is my works cited page. We have all the links to the tutorials and the resources on how to work them. And we also have the videos on here. We have 2 different videos on how to work them. We have many different articles, and I think that this toolkit could be a great benefit to any middle school social studies teacher or even English.